Nearly 3,000 years ago, a scribe in Nineveh pressed into wet clay the oldest surviving answer to a question you've asked yourself. Where did we come from? But here is what's unsettling. Civilizations separated by oceans and millennia, with no contact whatsoever, told almost the same story. Gods shaping humans from blood, earth, and divine breath, not as beloved children, but as something else entirely. In the shadowed halls of ancient Nineveh, a clay tablet records a story where the world's beginning is not gentle, but born of conflict and sacrifice. The Babylonian Enuma Elish, preserved on tablets such as BM 124949 and translated by Stephanie Dalley, tells of a time when the universe was unformed, swirling with the mingled waters of Apsu and Tiamat. From this chaos, the god Marduk rises as a force of order. His battle with Tiamat, the primordial serpent, is fierce and absolute. Her defeated body becomes the very structure of the cosmos, sky from her ribs, rivers from her eyes, mountains from her tail. Creation does not end with the world. The gods, weary of endless toil, demand relief. Marduk decrees that a new being will bear the burdens of divine labor. He orders the execution of Chingu, Tiamat's chosen champion. From Chingu's blood, mingled with clay, humanity is fashioned. The text inscribed by scribes nearly 3,000 years ago is unflinching. From the blood of the slain god, I fashioned mankind, that they might lighten the labors of the heavens. Humans in this myth are not born free. They are shaped as workers, their very bodies a mixture of divine sacrifice and earth, their purpose to serve the gods and sustain the great temple economies of Babylon. The act of writing this myth into clay, line by line, was itself a ritual of power, affirming the king's authority and the temple's right to command the labor of thousands. In the world imagined by the Enuma Elish, blood, earth, and duty are inseparable, and the story of our beginning is a story of service, written not in hope, but in necessity. Creation in ancient Egypt begins not with conflict, but with quiet intention. The Shabaka stone, carved around 710 BCE and now known as British Museum EA 498, preserves a vision where the world is shaped by thought and word. Ptah, the god at Memphis, sits at the center of this theology. According to Merriam-Lichtheim's translation, Ptah brings all things into being by first conceiving them in his heart, the seat of will, and then speaking them aloud. Ptah, through his heart and tongue, thought and spoke the world into being. From earth's dust, he sculpted the human body. Here the heart imagines, the tongue names, and only then does form emerge. Speech is more than sound. It is the force that animates dust, turning intention into reality. But the story continues on the banks of the Nile. Khnum, the potter god, takes up what Ptah has spoken. He works the river's clay on his wheel, shaping each person as a craftsman shapes a vessel. Reliefs from Esna and Elephantine show Khnum's hands slick with silt, molding limbs and faces, giving flesh to Ptah's words. The coffin texts call him the Lord of the Potter's Wheel, who fashions the bodies of men. In this theology, creation is a trilogy: mind, word, and hand. Each sunrise, each ritual, repeats this process, sustaining Ma'at, the balance that holds chaos at bay. The Shabaka stone stands as both record and renewal, its inscription turning myth into living act. Prometheus stands apart from the gods, not as a ruler or destroyer, but as a maker, his hands deep in the earth's raw clay. In ancient Greek tradition, especially as told by Plato in the Protagoras and echoed by later writers, Prometheus is the one who shapes mortals from earth and water, sculpting their forms with the patience of a craftsman. The clay, dampened by the river's edge, is pressed and turned until it carries the outline of a human face. But the work is not finished. What Prometheus gives next is not flesh, but fire, a spark stolen from the hearth of Olympus, hidden in a hollow fennel stalk, and carried down to the shivering figures he has formed. With fire, the story says, came more than warmth or light. It was the beginning of skill, techne, the arts of forging, building, and thinking. West's translation of the Theogony captures the awe, saying that from earth and water, the gods gave breath and speech was granted to mortals. The theft of fire is an act of rebellion, but also a gift, setting humans apart from the animals and drawing them closer, in some ways, to the divine. With this gift, mortals learn to cook, to craft, to reason, to gather in the city, and debate under open sky. Prometheus's act is not only the origin of the human body, but of culture itself. In Athens, the story was retold each year during the Promethea festival, a torch race that echoed the passing of fire and the birth of civilization. The myth, inscribed in poetry and painted on pottery, became a charter for the civic life of the polis. To be human, in this vision, is to inherit a sacred legacy, a flame passed from the hands of a suffering titan, a reminder that every act of making, every tool or word or law, is rooted in divine risk and creative defiance. In the Maori world, the beginning is not thunder or war, but the silent closeness of two great beings, Ranginui, the Sky Father, and Papatuanuku, the Earth Mother. They lie pressed together, their embrace sealing the world in darkness. For countless ages, their children grow restless in the cramped night. Among them, Tana, god of forests and birds, gathers his siblings and proposes a bold act to separate their parents and let light into the world. Others hesitate, but Tane stands firm. He braces his powerful legs against his mother's body, pushes with all his strength, and slowly, the sky is lifted away. A deep sigh escapes Ranginui, falling as the first rain. Light pours in, and the space between earth and sky becomes the realm of living things. This story, carried through generations by iwi knowledge holders, is not written in any single book. It lives in the voices of elders, in carved meeting houses, and in the land itself. The lesson is clear. Humanity is not born to serve distant gods, but to stand as Kaitiaki, guardians of the space between earth and sky. The breath of Tana, the first wind, is a gift and a charge. Each person holds a duty to care for the land, the waters, and all that grows. In this tradition, origin is inseparable from responsibility. The world is not given, but entrusted. In the oldest Chinese accounts, the universe begins as a silent, sealed egg, a boundless sphere where chaos and potential are indistinguishable. The myth of Pan Gu, recorded in the Sanwu Liji and attributed to Shu Zheng in the 3rd century CE, tells of a being who stirs within this darkness for 18,000 years. When the egg finally cracks, Pan Gu stands and pushes upward, forcing the lighter, clearer elements to rise as the sky, while the heavier, muddier substance settles beneath him as the earth. His body becomes the axis, holding apart heaven and earth, and each day for thousands of years, he grows taller, the world stretching wider with his effort. Creation is not gentle. When Pangu's work is finished, his strength fails. As he dies, his breath becomes the wind and clouds, his voice the thunder, his eyes the sun and moon. His limbs form the mountains, his blood the rivers, his muscles the fertile land, his hair the forests, and his bones the precious stones hidden in the earth. Even the parasites on his body, touched by the wind, become the first humans, born not from a single act, but from the transformation of the Creator himself. In this vision, the world is a living anatomy. each landscape a remnant of Pangu's sacrifice. The mountains, rivers, and valleys are not random features. They are the memory of a cosmic body divided, a reminder that the land itself is shaped by the death of its first architect. The story lingers in the rhythm of the earth, inviting reverence for the world as both inheritance and living witness to the mythic past. In the Rigveda, composed around 1500 BCE, the Purusha Sukta, translated by Jameson and Brereton, depicts the universe as a cosmic body. The gods sacrifice Purusha, a being with 1,000 heads and feet, and from his body the world emerges. His mouth forms the Brahman, his arms the Kshatriya, his thighs the Vaishya, and his feet the Shudra, mapping social order onto divine anatomy. Rivers, the sun, and the sky arise from his remains, binding humanity to a structure shaped by sacrifice. Here, society is not simply created, it is divided and ordered through ritual, each person inheriting a place in the cosmic design. In Japan, the Kojiki, compiled in 712 CE, tells of Izanagi and Izanami standing on the floating bridge of heaven. With a jeweled spear, they stir the sea, and as droplets fall, the first island, Onogoro, is born. Their union brings forth more islands, and the Kami, establishing both land and spiritual lineage. Creation here is deliberate, each island a product of divine intent. Both traditions root society in the body. Purusha's sacrifice and Izanagi and Izanami's shaping encode order and belonging in myth. Creation stories endure, not as relics, but as living mirrors reflecting how we seek meaning in chaos. Today, as science maps our origins in genes and stars, myth reminds us the question of why we exist still shapes every culture, every generation, every gaze turned skyward. Share your thoughts below.